This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Welcome on. It is First Alert Weather Breakdown time. Not only is it time for First Alert Weather Breakdown, it is Friday's edition of First Alert Weather Breakdown. This is my favorite. I love this episode, but something about doing this on Fridays just makes me even more, I don't know, giddy, happy, excited. It's great. Look, I love expanding over my weekend forecast here for you guys, and this weekend it's going to be good. I would say it's not going to be great. That's how I would probably express the weekend here coming up for you between tonight and the next 2 days ahead. There's definitely some things that could be better about the forecast, but it could be a whole lot worse, to be quite frank with you at the same time. All right, so that's one thing of what we're getting to at First Alert Weather Breakdown. Also, it's fall. It's fall on Friday. You know what that means. Football time around the ArkLaTex. We have sports forecasts galore spread out throughout our exclusive, We have football forecasts spread out throughout our entire exclusive content here for the day today on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. We will give that to you coming up in just a little while as well. Between high school, college, and NFL, I'm excited. I'm ready to roll. That's what we're dealing with here for the day today. If you need me to put that to paper for you, here you go. Here it is listed in writing for our topics here for the day today. We're talking about hot sunny conditions and essentially how long that will continue in our full local forecast discussion coming on up, because I know based on Wednesday and Thursday's forecast, you're expecting more of the same, and you would be correct. And then, our exclusive content for the day today is looking into everything football. If you're headed out to any of our games around town, just last week, all of our local college teams, for example, were out of town. Every single one. LA Tech, Grambling, NSU, all three of those teams were out of town. I haven't double-checked this, but I believe two out of the three of those teams, are returning here this weekend. So that'll be grand. That'll be nice. Yeah. All right. Let's get to it here for the day today as we join you on a live look out into Mattress Plus Skycam there in Shreveport. Beautiful outlook. This is the same outlook, to be fair, that we've had all work week long, and it's kind of going to go to show you one of the themes for our forecast here for the day today, which is being repetitive, continuous conditions. That's what we're rolling with, because we haven't had rain since Saturday morning. It's almost running on a week now, and it's still going to run on for the next few days too. I hope you're ready for it, because it's not going nowhere. All right, so that'll give you kind of a hint as to what we're discussing here in just a little bit. That was a look into downtown Shreveport. This is a look into Texarkana now, where we're getting beautiful blue skies there too. Temperatures just starting to warm up. This will be the thing that we're tracking the most currently here throughout the day today, with not much rain on the current radar at least. Temperatures 88 in Shreveport, 88 for Texarkana, 86 in Natchitoches, 84 in Mount Pleasant. Feels like temperatures aren't terrible. 94 in for Shreveport, 94 in Texarkana. I know what you're thinking, Evan. 94 degrees for feels like temperatures, still hot, especially for 10:30 in the morning. And you would be correct. But the fact of the matter is that we're already up to 88 degrees for a temperature out right now. But the fact that it feels like temperatures are only about 5 degrees more than the actual temperatures instead of like 10 to 15, that indicates to me that we have lower humidity. And that's going to be something I'm going to talk about in just a little while as well. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, we're under a high-pressure system, which is going to be on top of us for a while. High-pressure system, especially when that's directly on top of you like this system is, that equals sunshine, hot temperatures. Get that in your head, all right? Get it stuck there, because it's overall the pattern here over the next several days. I mean, you'll see this high-pressure system being stuck, essentially. It ain't moving nowhere. So, yeah, if anything, it might meander just slightly off to the east, but you get the point. When we still have a giant H over our heads in the ArkLaTex here all the way through at least the middle of next week. Essentially, you need something. You need something to change in the upper level patterns for us to shake things up, maybe get a little bit of rain in here, maybe cool things down maybe just a little bit. But no, because that high pressure system is essentially parked and tattooed to the ArkLaTex, there's no other conditions that can come in here. If the app is essentially, just to give you like another synonym for this, if I'm in a traffic jam, if my upper level pattern is in a traffic jam, how can I expect to get anything different into the region if air isn't really moving that much around the ArkLaTex? Maybe that's a bad one. But anyways, the point is, high pressure system is not moving, so our current conditions underneath this high pressure system aren't moving out of the ArkLaTex either. I think that's the best example I've had so far here for you. So we're stuck. As long as the high pressure system's stuck here, we're stuck with the high temperatures, and we're stuck with the sunshine. So be wary. Keep precautions. So let's get into temperatures first. 97 degrees in Shreveport expected here for this afternoon. 97 for Texarkana. Just so you know, the recorded high temperature yesterday in Shreveport was also 97 degrees. So the point is that these temperatures aren't really going anywhere. But the matter of the fact is that I want to get to these feels like temperatures because the actual high is around 97 today. The feels like temperatures will ramp up to around 100 here for this afternoon. If you notice, they do stay in the caution area. It is hot, but it's not extremely hot. We're not building our feels like temperatures much more than 100 degrees, if that, over the next 5 days. That's mostly because of our humidity. And this is good news for us. I know it is hot. That's actually what I did not mean to put myself on camera there for a second. Mainly because I don't want to block the graphic here for you. But essentially, again, we're hot, but we're not excessively hot. If we were in the summer and if we were having heat alerts in the region, which we aren't, we have no heat alerts in effect here for the day today, and I'm not expecting them for the next several days, because the humidity would have to be in this oppressive level. Our muggy meter would have to be in this oppressive level. Just so you know, on a typical summer day, our humidity is stuck here in the red pretty much. But the fact of the matter is that we have a good amount of humidity here for the day today, but it's definitely dipping. If anything, it's actually dropping here over the next 4 to 5 days around the ArkLaTex, and that's one of the few changes that we do have around here, is the humidity slowly but surely going to kind of leak out of the region, essentially, to provide us with humidity levels that are at least a little more reasonable. There's less weight to the atmosphere. So, again, it's going to be hot, but it's not going to be excessively hot, meaning it's not going to be the hottest of days of all summers, essentially. So that gives us at least some relief, so to speak, in regards to the temperatures. As for the conditions outside, it is, again, high pressures on top of us. We mentioned nothing but dry conditions here. For the most part, overall, our future track, this has been continuously happening since yesterday. It's trying to give us just maybe 1 to 2 brief storms here for the afternoon hours. If anything was to form, I'm expecting it to be incredibly brief. You see these pop-up green cells just pop and then essentially dry up very quickly. So this would last not long if this hits at all. The time frame of which this would hit is basically in the peak of the afternoon, somewhere between 2 to 6 p.m. If we were to get just a brief light drizzle. And that's the other thing I want to get at. This should be drizzling rain showers. I don't think this will be heavy rainfall at all if it does hit. This is why I put a 10% rain chance on for today. But overall, everybody should be dried out through Friday. The same thing could continue into tomorrow. But, overall, I'm not impressed with anything coming in that's going to be giving us any chance of rain realistically here for the long-term future. You can look at that in another future track, our long-term future track, which essentially is free. As I say that, it's freezing up a little bit, but the point is you don't really see a massive green shade on top of the ArkLaTex there, which indicates a massive chance of rain. In fact, this is probably the best thing to get to, is our rainfall potential over the next 7 days. You see little tiny what appears to be just a tiny splatter of oops, I spilled my coffee on top of the map there, just barely. But essentially, most of us stay dry, and most of us don't get any measurable rainfall at all. And out of those of you that will get maybe a little bit of rain, it's not going to be much whatsoever. And again, this is the next 7 days. This is not just today. This is for the next week. Next week entirely. It's going to be, wild around the region here over the next couple days. All right, let's get to some of our lifestyle forecasts here. We're going to go over the football forecast in our exclusive content coming on up. I'm going to go ahead and skip on over that because, again, I will have all of your football forecasts for you kind of lined up in a row after a quick commercial break. But let's wrap up this rest of the forecast here for you locally. Temperatures, 97 degrees. Remember that was the high today? That's the high for Saturday and Sunday. And guess what? I still don't see a chance of rain happening between Saturday and Sunday either. So, weather pattern essentially staying stagnant. So our conditions here are also being stagnant in the process too. All right, first alert check to your tropics. This is the same area of interest we were tracking onto yesterday. If you're just joining us here for the first time, we do have an area of interest that's barely getting off the coast of Africa. That has a 40% chance of forming here within the next several days. It'll probably be in the next 5 to 7 days or so. But look at where this would be going if this forms. The kind of the cone of formation has it immediately going off, not just not just west, but most importantly north. That's why I'm kind of pointing in the direction of where this would be eventually going towards. If this were to hit any landfall, it might be East Coast. Again, this is way down the line. In 7 days, this would be forming in the orange bubble is essentially what I'm trying to get at. So plenty of time to track this out. But the good news already, what we're seeing just based on this tropical formation map, is that it would be pinpointing the system north, which it is incredibly hard for storms to get south at all. But essentially, if the storms go northward, they're going to have more of a difficult time getting into the Gulf. Period. That's what I'm trying to get at the end of the day. 7-day forecast. Looks eerily similar from day to day. 10% rain chance on for today. You could maybe include that for tomorrow, but you get the point. It's mostly dry, mostly sunny. Highs are tattooed in the mid to upper 90s, maybe dipping to 93 on Thursday. We'll see about that. I'm not convinced that's going to happen, but we'll see. Yes, I'm not even convinced that that's going to happen to the 3-degree temperature decrease. Morning lows tattooed in the lower 70s. We also have morning lows in the 70s pretty much throughout next work week too. As I said, our forecast pretty stagnant. So what are you gonna do? You know, you need something to change in the upper atmosphere to get our flow along, to change things around here. Period. But overall, I mean, to be fair, this is kind of what summer is. September, October, kind of some of our more dry months, and this is why. We had kind of you could even consider it a lucky cold front last weekend, last Saturday morning. That gave us a nice refreshing air earlier this week, but now we see summer's true colors, September's true colors, essentially, around the ArkLaTex. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to go over football forecasts for all of our local ArkLaTex teams, anybody you support here locally. We'll go over the forecast for them coming up after this. Stick around. Welcome on back to our football forecast. Thanks to KSLA's News 12's First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, this is only exclusive content you will find on this podcast. You won't even find it on the shows because, quite frankly, we don't have enough time to go over just all the forecasts for everybody. We usually go over the local for high school teams, literally in place here in Shreveport, but we don't branch out too much into college and NFL teams, which is exactly what we are going to be doing here. So, hey, we're excited for the weekend here. Locally, it looks beautiful. Looks hot, though. We'll see if that coverage extends everywhere around the ArkLaTex or for some of our away games for some of our teams playing, some of our ArkLaTex teams playing outside of the ArkLaTex as well. So, first of all, high school. Start with high school first. Friday night here for tonight, looking completely dry. Don't worry about any rain. It should be all good to go. Winds nice and calm. That's nice for a football game as well. Temperature is going to be a little toasty, especially when you're warming up as well and just starting to head into the game. Once that sun really dips down, though, that's when things will greatly cool things off, and there'll be a pleasant rest of the game for you for your Friday night. So take some maybe drink a water bottle, bring a water bottle if you can in for the game, especially the beginning of it, but help keep yourself cool. But I think we should be fine, especially once we get through the game. All right, this is the kind of exclusive content that we look forward to here in the first hour with a breakdown. Again, let's go into some of the college ranks and see what's going on there. NSU, fresh off of taking on Minnesota this past weekend. That did not fare out too well for them. Minnesota, they're a step above. They're a step above. Let's just say that. NSU is now still on the road this coming weekend. They're taking on Cincinnati, in Cincinnati, Ohio. Just a slim chance of rain, it looks like, around there. But besides that, I think the conditions should be mostly dry for that game in and of itself. Temperatures will be in the mid-80s around kickoff time before ending up in the upper 70s a little later in the night. And so I think that game should be fine. Should be good to go for the most part. And hopefully shouldn't deal with too many rain issues there. So good luck to the Demons. As for Grambling, they are back home after taking on Ohio State last week. Yeah, Ohio State. They are taking on Kentucky State this weekend, technically for their home opener. First game that they've had in Grambling. First week they were at Shreveport in the Independence Stadium. Second week they were in Columbus, Ohio. Now they're back home in Grambling, again, taking on Kentucky State. If anything, you saw in that future track maybe just a brief light drizzle around kickoff time, but I should not be seeing rain here. Definitely no rain issues affecting the Grambling game whatsoever. Again, it starts off hot, though, 89 degrees. It could cool off, though, a good bit, especially once we reach further on into the game. Next up, LA Tech. LA Tech is back home in Ruston, just a little bit down the road from Grambling. They're taking on New Mexico State this weekend. That's a night game as well, so that'll also help keep things cooler as well. 89 degrees around cool off. 89 degrees still around kickoff. Again, similar to our Friday night games here for tonight. Just starting off definitely hot, but then certainly cooling off once that sun goes on down. Good luck to the Bulldogs, who have honestly a valiant effort last week against LSU. And speaking of LSU, here for you Tiger fans, they are taking on Florida here tomorrow night. They're taking on the Gators. Night game should be nice. Not much of a chance of cloud cover that can produce rain at all. Overall, that game in Death Valley should be a great one, especially once the game gets started. As you see a theme with all these night games, especially that are happening, it starts off a little hot, but definitely cools off very quickly. All right, NFL games. We get to do a Cowboys one. Cowboys were on Thursday Night Football last week, so I didn't get to be able to do one last time. But we have Cowboys and Saints both at home this coming Sunday. So if you're traveling out to Arlington or going out to New Orleans, I think you're going to be in for a treat weather-wise. Cowboys game, hey, looking nice. Partly cloudy skies, no chance of rain. It will be hot, though. I will say, if you're tailgating for that kickoff, temperature should still be in the 80s, and I think you'll still be fine. But when you're coming out of that stadium, it might be you might be frying, especially. So just keep in mind that, and maybe keep a water bottle with you on the way out the door. Lastly, last thing as a part of our exclusive content for sports here for the day today, Saints are taking on the 49ers. Both of those kickoff games, again, between the Cowboys and Saints, are at noon. Again, the Cowboys are taking on the Giants at home. Saints are taking on the 49ers here for this coming weekend. And this is pretty similar conditions to what was out against the Cardinals last weekend. I know this isn't a dome, but tailgating time, low upper 70s, lower 80s should be nice. No chance of rain to worry about coming out to. Maybe a little bit on the warmer side of things once you get out of the dome, but no problems by any means weather-wise for realistically anybody here for this coming weekend. So that should be A-okay. Fantastic to go for. Excited to watch some football here for this coming weekend. Should be good for you. All right. That's all I got here for the first look with a breakdown. Thank you very much for joining us here for this entire work week, not just for today. I always appreciate it. Next week's first look with a breakdown is going to be a little unusual. You're mainly used to seeing kind of CJ earlier on in the work week on this podcast, and then me coming on for the second half of the work week. We're essentially flip-flopping it around next week. I will be hosting most of the beginning half of the work week shows, and then CJ will be ending the work week on Thursday and Friday on here in the First Alert Weather Breakdown. So I will actually see you on Monday at 10:30. We're going to be talking more about the long-term forecast. That's going to be our exclusive content. I will disclose with you first thing next week. We're going to try to answer the question, when can we break free finally out of the heat and out of the sunshine? So far, there's no answer to that. Even the 12-day forecast looks completely dry and still filled with 90s. So we're going to try to find any bits of heat hints that could lead us to maybe thinking that we could get out of this dry, hot pattern. Also in the process of doing that, I do want to look at our drought monitor as well, because that could be ramping up, especially as we're racking on. Through now, it's been a week of dry days just about, but heading into next week as we're expecting more dry conditions and sunshine, it could be a week and a half at least straight, maybe even 2 weeks straight of nothing but dry weather around here and not a ounce of any rain. So we'll keep you first alert about that next week. But hey, enjoy your weekend. It will be hot, yes, but it will be sunny. So don't let no rain will impact you or your plans out the door, especially if you're headed to a football game here around the ArkLaTex or out towards Arlington or New Orleans for Saints and Cowboys. Before I think both of them go on the road for week 3. I could be wrong about that, but we'll see. Anyways, you have a great rest of your day. Have a fantastic weekend. I will see you Monday at 10:30. Be there, be square, and most importantly, stay weather aware. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy it. See ya.